Thanks for inviting me. It's really awesome to be able to help you guys with your Games for Sava project, and it's really cool to see what everyone's working on. And also the talks, I was able to listen in a little bit to the previous ones. Some really good stuff about marketing. So all of you guys are very lucky that we've got all these people helping out with this advisory board. So looking forward to how everything goes. So yeah. As Rathi mentioned, my name is Vikram. I was class of 2016 YACG. That feels like forever ago now. But 2 months feels like forever ago with how the world is right now. And yeah, I have been starting companies and trying to create startups from basically the moment I knew what that was. Even in high school, I started like a little custom computer selling business. Um, and what I have been working on in some of the background I hope to be able to bring to help all of y'all when you're going towards launching your games as products is as a biotech entrepreneur in the synthetic biology space, where I use biological tools to make very mundane things. So the interesting part about like the product I'm working on, there's a lot of really complex biology, technical things as you were alluding to. But at the end of the day, what I'm doing is creating a brand of pigments, a line of coloring agents that are more environmentally friendly, more sustainable, and less toxic. So it's this interesting intersection of a very technical space, which I like, but also a very consumer and very, marketing product oriented end result where we're talking about, putting paint on cereal boxes and talking to consumer goods manufacturers and things like that. So the experience that I have sort of ranges across that whole background. And as Rathianti mentioned, I went to school at Penn. I just graduated this spring. Very interesting year to graduate into. I did a dual degree. So in terms of academic background, I have a degree in finance and healthcare management from the Wharton School, and I also have a degree in biology. And through the business program, I think I was able to get a lot of good understanding and insights into the process of marketing, the process of operations, of positioning, of sales, of understanding like what does it mean to actually sell a product and to develop a market that I'm hoping I can help you guys with when you're going through that process as well. I know we were discussing about potentially setting up a workshop or something like that over the next couple of weeks. And when I'm thinking about what's the one thing in the next couple of minutes I could say from my background that I think is most relevant to what everyone here is working on, I think it would be my experience with understanding the nature of positioning and the nature of targeting. So let me take a second to explain what I mean there. When I was finding my first customers to get letters of intent and to get early sales for a pigment market, I was in a situation sort of like what you guys might be in right now, where you're considering who's really buying my product and how do I reach them. You're going to be running into this a lot when you set up your Kickstarter campaigns and you begin, figuring out the tactical details of how you're going to get those metrics to move. And what really I think helped me figure out what I want to spend my time on and focus on was beginning to think about targeting and positioning from the perspective of behavior. I remember where the biggest insight I had was I was looking at the pigment space and I was thinking, all right, do I want to find a small business or a big business that I'm trying to sell to? Do I want to try to sell to a small consumer goods manufacturer or a big package provider? And I began to realize that that distinction didn't really make sense, right? What really, is there really something so different about a company that is 100 people versus 101 employees? So in the same way, when you're thinking about, who you want to be buying your your product, you might begin coming up with ideas of what your customer looks like that are based off of factors like age, gender, demographics, things that can feel a little bit easy, like it's saying it's a small business or a large business. But what I want you to think about as you're thinking about what value the games provide and who you want to target, think instead about behavior. I began to realize it's not about, how many employees the packaging company has. I began to realize it's about how they act when they get packaging. Do they have a facility that produces it in-house? Do they have a facility? Do they go and contract with an external printer? You're going to have big companies that contract with an external printer and small companies that try to make it in-house. So the same way for you guys, you might have an image in your mind that all the people that will be buying your games are Indian. But you might want to challenge that assumption. You might want to challenge the idea that any Indian you see will want to buy this game, and anyone who's not Indian will not be interested in buying this game. You might want to look at the idea that all family members, you might be thinking of family members, are all family members that going to be willing to buy this game, and are they all going to be as likely to buy this game as everyone that's not a family member? Are the ways that you're thinking about the people who are going to buy this game, are they really reflective of how the people that will be hopefully enjoying your game in the future are going to act? Because when I made that shift, I was able to realize I should not be thinking about the size of companies. I should be thinking about how they buy their packaging. I was able to identify companies that use external packaging providers that also had this behavioral characteristic where they really valued environmentally beneficial packaging products, because the social aspect of this mission was very important for me.